everybody, Arminé Bazikyan here. Today I wanted to take a minute and talk to you about how you actually administer a trust when a loved one passes. This is a very important step in the administration or estate planning process that a lot of people actually overlook. So a lot of people think that once they create the trust and they transfer all of their assets to it, they're done and there's nothing else left for them to do. For the most part, this is true because the person that has passed away has nothing more to do after death. However, the person that they've appointed as trustee to take over after they are gone must follow through with the deceased person's wishes. So the loved one that has passed away has outlined exactly what he wants done and how he wants it done, and has appointed a trusted person to take care of everything for him. And this person we call the trustee. So the trustee has to then step up and fulfill his duties as outlined in the document. And so what does a trustee need to do? Well, there's a million and one things, first of all, that the trustee needs to do. So we're going to keep this very short and give you an outline of how the actual trust administration process rolls out. So following the death of a loved one, the trustee will normally start the initial phase, and we call this phase the collecting of information and gathering and organizing things. The trustee will gather all of the loved one's paperwork, estate planning documents, bills, invoices, any information that comes by mail or by email. The trustee will gather in one place and organize and try to make sense of it. During this initial phase, the trustee will order death certificates and notify Social Security of the death and do the things that anyone would have to do at that time, along with information gathering. The second phase is an important one because this is where the attorney will come in. The trustee normally hires an attorney to help them during this administration process. So if you were worrying, oh my gosh, I don't have any single person in my life that is knowledgeable enough for me to appoint as trustee to do this difficult job, don't worry, because most people don't. The fact of the matter remains that as long as your trustee is an organized individual and responsible, those are the only two skill sets they should have. If they have anything additional, financial expertise, legal expertise, perfect. If not, don't worry about it, because the trustee is able to bring on these professionals to help guide him through this administration process. So the trustee will hire an attorney, such as myself, and I will come into the picture and help the trustee administer the trust at that point. So during that second stage, after he's collected all the information, we will do all of the miscellaneous things that the law requires. For examples, we will give notice to all the beneficiaries as required by the probate code. We will provide the court with the original will. We'll lodge it with the court. So we'll do various miscellaneous things that we're required to do within a certain time frame. We'll assist the trustee with all of this process and organization and whatnot during that second stage. And the second stage I like to call the planning stage, where we take care of all the things we know we have to do, such as notice and lodging of the will and other things like that. And we also plan for how we're going to make the person's wishes come to life. So we will review the document, know what he wanted done, and then map out a plan of action. So this is the planning stage. Once we've mapped out this plan, we will move on to the final stage, what I like to call, divvying things up and actually closing things down and finishing things up stage, or the distribution stage, where people actually get their inheritance. And during this process, we will actually execute the plan that we've created together, that we've put together, that's in the best interest of everyone. So, for example, this is just a hypothetical example. So let's say somebody has passed and he wants everything divided among his two children. And he's appointed his best friend as trustee because the guy is a responsible person and he's organized enough to handle it. His friend pretty much has no knowledge of the law. Will come into my office, present me with the legal documents for his friend that passed away, And we will sit down together and we will move through the steps of the requirements of the probate code. We will get to the point at which distribution is to happen, and we will see that the person that passed away wanted everything distributed equally to his children. So that's what we will do. A lot of times the plan of action will require different things, such as keeping it in trust for, let's say, a minor child. A lot of times it'll require property to be sold and money distributed instead, so it just depends on what the person's wishes are. So the attorney's job and the trustee's job at that point is to make sure the loved one that has passed away, make sure that his final wishes are done 100% and are executed 100%. So that's what's called administering the trust, doing what the trust has detailed for us to do, essentially, what the loved one wished would be done after he has passed away. So this is the overall trust administration process. It could be very simple or it could be very complicated, depending on what the loved one has delineated in his documents and depending on the various assets and the types of assets. So it all depends, and the time frame for it also varies. But the point to remember here is you're not in a courtroom and you're not subject to the court's timeline and calendar. So with that said, the trustee can move things along as fast as he wants or as slow as he needs to for certain tax benefits, for example. So that's key to remember, is that the trustee controls the time frame on this, and also everything remains private. So there are no public records of this trust. It doesn't need to be filed anywhere. It doesn't need to be lodged. It doesn't need to be recorded anywhere. So everything that is done with respect to the trustee and the beneficiaries and the attorney is private information and locked up. No one can actually be nosy and dig into the records and find out what's going on. So that's the other beauty of it. It's a privately handled affair, and it can go as fast or as slow as needed for the beneficiaries. And the beneficiary can also, tap into the inheritance early on if there's an exigent circumstance and they need the money. So everything will be in the control of the trustee. But this is generally how the trust is administered once somebody has passed and they had created a living trust. And that's what is called the trust administration of an estate. You administer the loved one's trust. So that's pretty much it for now. There's more details on it, but we don't want to go into the details because we don't have enough time. So if there are things that you want to talk about that are specific to your situation, or things that you want to hear about a little bit more in detail, feel free to give me a call or feel free to email me or contact me any way that you want. My information is always available to you guys, and if you want to read a more detailed article about this topic, feel free to click on the link below. And if you would like this video, I would really appreciate it, and feel free to share it with your friends and family that may be interested in it and that might learn something from it as well. Bye!